Welcome to the Blockchain All-Star Series. I'm your host, Layla Gulen. Blockchain and distributed ledger technology are at the forefront of the Internet 3.0 era, where the technology can enable trusted and transparent sharing of data and digital assets. Though the technology is still in its early stage, who makes up the constellation of innovators, guiding us through the digital revolution powered by blockchain? Well, we'd like to welcome Oluchi Enebeli. She is Nigeria's first female blockchain engineer and the founder of Ladies Do Tech, a community aimed at building their growth in this space with a focus on blockchain. Oluchi, it's great to have you.
Thank you so much, Leah, for having me. We're happy to be here.
It's great to finally meet you. And from what I understand, you have a background in building scalable blockchain services to enhance contracts with varying business logic. When and why did you get interested in this particular technology?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So I got started with blockchain about fully in 2018, and was exploring the space in 2017. And the major reason why I got interested was, I got in through an hackathon because I was a software engineer before I got into blockchain engineering, and I was really fascinated about because I did mathematics. I studied mathematics, applied mathematics in school, and blockchain was really. I saw the very the application of cryptography, because that was like an area that I was also exploring at that point in time. And then when I went to the hackathon, it was about solving blockchain for global good, blockchain for social good, and it was very interesting what we're building, because we're trying to build an application that could allow us just profile people in some certain areas prone to natural disaster, and you get to see a couple of those stuff happening here in Nigeria, somewhere around the north. And so we wanted to profile these people so that when these things happen and donations come in, they're going to the right sources, right? Because that's one challenge we've seen over time, where NGOs are set up and then they are giving heavy donations, and this money don't get to go to the right people who need it, because there's no way to sort of like trace this funds and the usage of the fund, right? So yeah, that was a project I got on, and it was really exciting, and I wanted to learn more about the technology. So that was like how I got really so interested in blockchain.
Yeah, very interesting. You're a quote co-pilot at Crevatal. Tell us more about this company and what you do there. What does that title mean?
Okay, yeah. So Crevatal is a UX design company. What essentially we're trying to do is sort of like foster more blockchain adoption through intuitive designs. Because so I'm from Nigeria, and not a lot of people in Nigeria, or even Africa, are like so in tune with a lot of blockchain concepts, all right? And there's this issue of just a barrier to entry into most of the blockchain projects, because I believe blockchain is way beyond just cryptocurrency, way beyond just holding or buying and selling cryptocurrency. That's what you see a lot of people do, right? But there's a whole world beyond that, right? There's DeFi, there's NFTs, and there is a certain barrier. So beyond just things being expensive in terms of like gas fee for Ethereum, there is also like the user experience issue, right? You most time need to have sufficient ideas of finance, or you need to sort of have been in the space for a very long time, or understand the intricacies of most DeFi platform, or even have to read the white paper before you get started with all these applications, or get started benefiting from this application, right? And there's this common word in blockchain, right? Do your own research. So I'm of the opinion that yes, it's good to do your own research, but how much research should you guys do, right? Sure. To get involved in the space, or to start benefiting from the space, right? And that was one of the reasons that pushed us to start Crevatal, right? The idea is to help products or startup rethink the product design process, right? And then ensure that they are also accommodating or bringing in this new set of users that have been somewhat sidelined in most of the DeFi projects out there due to like a very poor user experience.
Very interesting. When you were studying rather at the University of Benin, Nigeria, did you anticipate your career would take this particular path? Did you have an inkling about blockchain at that time?
Definitely not. Like, definitely not. While I was studying, I mean, I knew nothing about the tech ecosystem generally, not even blockchain, right? Even the tech ecosystem, I knew very little about it because I was after, just studying, coming out with a good grades, getting a good job, and all of those stuff, right? It was after school, I started, diving into tech in general and then blockchain. Yeah, so I never would have thought I'd be in blockchain by now.
And as you were, after you had graduated and you were starting to work in technology, when you caught the bug, uh, did it feel like you were kind of abandoning what your path was to pursue this? And was it kind of a new frontier for you?
Yeah, so it was definitely a new frontier. It was definitely different from what I knew, right? Yeah, Web3, like I would like to say, is progressive, right? So it's a progression of Web2, but it was a totally new concept. And at that time, right, there were not a lot of resources out there to sort of like help you navigate the space, right? So it was like another like it was like another language, right? Like it was
Yeah,
something
yeah.
totally different, right? But yeah, so I think one of the reasons why I even though it felt like it didn't really feel like I was going to leave my programming or the languages I've learned behind, because I could see the applications of like the regular programming languages in Web 2. I could see the application in Web 3, right? So it didn't feel like I was leaving it behind, and it was an enabling force, because it helped me understand just the whole idea of programming or coding in Web 3, right? So I think that's how I would like to say.
When you did discover that you were Nigeria's first female blockchain engineer, how did you feel about it? And looking back, how do you think you got there?
Yeah. So when I discovered that, right, it was yeah, I was like, oh wow, wait a second. Yeah, you get, because I was at the early phase when I was trying to like get into the blockchain space. I was going for a lot of meetup, and I got a couple of jobs that period, right? And a lot of people were looking for female engineers, female skills in the blockchain space. And I couldn't even think of anyone else to refer, right, at that point in time. And then I got all of these comments, all of these people reaching out to me and like, oh, you're the first female blockchain engineer, you're the first female blockchain engineer in the world. And I was like, oh wow, yeah. And I was like, I mean, so it was really actually, it was actually interesting, but actually, but also on the other side, it also spurred a new, an aspect of me that wanted more ladies in the blockchain space, because I started off my career in a startup filled with ladies, right? They were all lady female software engineers, and I loved it, right? It was really interesting getting to work with all female engineers and coming to the blockchain space and seeing that, oh, at this point in time, right, a lot of ladies are not getting really interested in this space. So that was one thing that pushed me to starting like Web 3 ladies and ladies with tech, just to get more ladies into the space. So yeah, it was actually exciting, and never actually thought when I started when I started my blockchain career, it's just more about me learning. I was just wanted to learn more about the space. I wanted to be in the space because I felt like, oh, this is a chance to grow with a new technology, right? Because I was in tech, and tech at that point in time was very populated. A lot of people were in tech, a lot of guys were in tech and all of this stuff. And then when I started learning about blockchain, I was like, this is a new space, right? This is a new opportunity. It's like starting all over again, right? And you have the opportunity to grow with the technology. You have the opportunity to be a female in blockchain, right? And I was like, you know what, I'm going to key into this and I'm going to stay on, right? So, I mean, that was like part of the motivation as well.
Well, you truly are a pioneer, in this space. Technology in general, it's so dominated by men. It's becoming more and more open to women, but once you enter the blockchain space and then in different parts of the world, you really truly are a pioneer. So what are your suggestions for women who want to join blockchain, for others who want to follow in your path?
Yeah, so what I would say is that I mean, just start, right? Because that's the best thing, right? Enough of being, I mean, you can only be an enthusiast, a blockchain enthusiast or a Web3 enthusiast for such a time, right? But at some point in time, you just have to make this decision to start. And when you make the decision, it's going to feel like am I doing the right thing, or it's blockchain it? Because I get those people, I get a lot of ladies asking me that question, like, should I leave everything I'm doing to focus on blockchain? Should I leave everything to like run after this technology? What if it doesn't stay, it doesn't last? And I'm like, hey, this technology is here and it's here to stay, right? So my advice for young ladies trying to come into the space is that get a community, because communities are very actually essential. And I wish I, had that while I was, getting started in the blockchain space, right? It wasn't so popular then, right? So it was, especially in Nigeria, right? So it was a bit tough for me, right? But right now there are a couple of communities, and I'm also founding one community called Web3 Ladies, where we help ladies just get involved in the blockchain space, and then we have like mentorship also that we run to just help ladies with some technical skills that they would require to sort of like compete favorably in the space, right? So I would say start now. It's not too late. The technology is still growing, it's still maturing, and it's very, very beautiful, because I believe that if we get as much ladies interested in space at this point in time, then think about 10 years down the line in blockchain, right? We will be able to achieve, a fair amount of distribution of gender in the blockchain space, which we were very, very late to take. And at this point in time, we're still trying to do catch up, right? And as ladies, right, in tech, we're still trying to catch up, right? We've not been able to bridge that gap effectively, but we can do that in the blockchain space if we're able to like, get in now, right? So what I want to say to the young ladies out there is that get in, get started, appreciate baby steps, right? You won't get it all at once, right? It won't just come all at once. Some things might be very discouraging, or it might feel a bit complex, and that's where communities come in. That's where seeing other ladies doing stuff in the blockchain space is very, very interesting, because you get to see that you can do it. So if I can do it, then you can do it. Anybody can do it, right?
Did you have any challenges though? I mean, were you met with any resistance when you were trying to break into the space?
Yeah, so I think major resistance would be just getting the hang of it, right? Like how does everything fit in? Just understanding the concept and basically, and getting enough support, right? To just break in. So I was working as a startup then, because I was learning blockchain and still doing my own software engineering job, right? Because I still need to deliver in that, and I still need to learn this new technology, right? And so your company, my company then wasn't really looking to break into blockchain, and they didn't really understand the technology, and they felt like it wasn't going to like last, right? But I believed, I had the conviction, right? And I said to put everything I can to sort of like pursuing it, even though at some point in time it felt like really complex. It felt like I couldn't do this, right? So I think majority, some barriers I had was just that initial phase of understanding where I fit in the whole blockchain ecosystem, understanding, seeing others as well that like are doing this stuff, meeting other female in the space. It wasn't very easy to do that at that point in time. There were not a lot of female. I was trying to like also interact and just get to meet a lot of people doing that, but it was mostly guys, right? So I think I think just the nature stuff, right?
Yes. And blockchain, it's entering the vernacular globally more and more every day. Wasn't like this even just a few months ago. But where do you think for Nigeria, blockchain will have the most benefit? What do you think the challenges are for it to continue to take off? And where do you think it's going in, say, the next 5 years?
Yeah, so I think for Nigeria, right, there's actually a lot of benefits, right? I would even say that the blockchain was made for like Nigeria or Africa, but I mean, in terms of just businesses like rethinking how they approach their products, how they approach like building stuff, in the Web3 space. I like the fact that Web3 blockchain is pushing more on decentralization, transparency, right? And it's pushing more on community first, right? So just taking the community along, is forcing a lot of companies, a lot of products, a lot of founders coming up within the space to begin to think transparency, begin to think community, carrying people along, right, which is very essential for building products, and you don't have these before. And then also I think another part is in terms of like financial, just financial freedom for like Nigerians, right? A lot of Nigerians are beginning to tap into the space because our currency, it's constantly the valuing, right? So imagine having this, what you can get something like a television with, say an amount of money, and then today you can't even get the cable, right? With that same amount of money, right? So it's really crazy, right? And a lot of people are looking for other ways to just hedge against this deflation, right? And cryptocurrency is doing that right now, right? A lot of crypto savings platform coming up in Nigeria, right? To help people just save in put in naira, but you're saving in stable coin or you're saving in cryptocurrency, and you know what it means in like 2 years down the line, right? You're not just benefiting from the interest, right? You're also benefiting from the appreciation, right, of cryptocurrency, because these things are like growing in time. And then of course it depends on the kind of cryptocurrency that you are saving or you are edging your funds against, right? That there are cryptocurrencies that don't have the right community, right? But with those kind of cryptocurrencies that are really very essential and really valuable, right? It's able to, help Nigerians edge against most of this inflation and just bring some kind of financial freedom to us as well. And then it's also empowering more creative with the rise of NFTs as well from Nigeria, because a lot of creative it's been a struggle to just get, to get platform recognition, or a way to just project your creative skills as an artist or a designer or whatever creative space, right? And then blockchain is bringing all of those and decentralization and this beauty, like encouraging or helping these creatives earn directly for their skills. And then you have areas such as also just in terms of like digital identities, where NFT I feel plays a very strong role beyond just I know there's a lot of hype around it, but beyond just that, right? There's that other like very lucrative opportunities that it presents to Nigerians, right? But number one thing would be in terms of financial freedom, access to a global market as well, and access to a global network of people, and then also valuation for your skills, because before then, right, getting freelance job or jobs like outside of Nigeria. There's one issue is even in terms of like just how do you get paid, right?
Yeah.
There's this friction between like how to get paid, so I need to get a DOM account, and then all the stress of like doing the transfer. But right now, I get paid in cryptocurrency, and you just receive your money like I at once, right? Just a minute, and then you can spend it, right? So that's beauty. It's also helping a lot of Nigerian talents even get like global jobs and help them get paid valuable payment for their skills, because you're working within a DAO, and at that point in time, right, the fact of anonymity, right? You don't need to know me, right? What you need to do, and that's beautiful in the blockchain space, and even especially with DAO, the fact that you don't need to know me in terms of like my full personality. What you need to know is that I can do the job, I'm delivering, and then I'm getting paid for it, right? That way, right, skills are being valued as they should, as opposed to saying, oh, you're Nigerian, so you should get like this amount of money, or you should get less amount of money, which is something.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really an issue actually.
Oh, goodness. I don't think a lot of people quite realize that, or maybe it hasn't really been talked about a whole lot. So
Yeah.
so this allows you to be somewhat anonymous, but get paid properly for your skill set.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. What do you think have your accomplishments been in blockchain and its application so far?
Okay, so I think majorly it's about helping products, build like really sustainable applications. I've worked in a couple of companies, right? Majorly on the engineering team, just trying to see how we can, build a scalable infrastructure to allow, and most of the products I've worked with, the products that directly, affect the African or the Nigerian markets, helping people, just get onboarded, in this wave of cryptocurrency, this wave of blockchain, right? To begin to benefit from it, or begin to like, invest and get returns on their investment, or even edge against that cryptocurrency, right? So that's like one way that I've been trying to like work. And very recently I've been moving towards much towards, product management, right? So it's a blend of, so what I do currently is in an intersection of product and engineering, more of like a technical product manager, just helping product startups see help them build the product in such a way that it's solving the user's need, and it's also very scalable in terms of like the engineering requirement for to building that product, right? So I think that those like a couple of areas where my work recently revolves around.
Okay. Now, you said that you had worked in software development before entering the space of blockchain. Have you ever thought about working in a different kind of a job that maybe was not tech related? And if so, what was it?
Okay. Okay, so I think that's a bit tricky. I don't think. Okay, yeah, maybe I wanted to be an actress, acting movies, a dancer or
Really?
something. But really,
No
beyond
kidding.
that, it's been tech, and beyond that, it's been tech, right? But yeah, I mean, that's like one thing I would have loved to do if I wasn't really in tech.
Yes, I think you'd be an excellent actress. Well, you certainly have the face for it.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
I mean, you could always do both. Have you ever
Yeah.
thought about being the first blockchain engineer in Nigeria plus acting?
Actress. That'll be nice. That'll be nice. That'll be nice. I can see myself.
Absolutely. Oh, I think you could do it for sure. What is going to be your focus this year and in the next maybe 2 years, just in terms of your own personal growth and blockchain as a whole?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, I'm moving more towards products, product engineering, technical product management, and then that's what I'm going to be, doing. Growing my in terms of the career growth. That's like the area I'm going to sort of like be, should I say, specializing in, or just staying in, like for the moment, just helping companies, right? Beyond just building out, beyond just coding or just building according to requirements, seeing how this translates into the users, because you're essentially building for users, right? And then you need to be sure that what you're building is even usable, in terms of like the experience the users benefit from using this product, right? So that's like one area that I'm very interested in, and I'm growing my career towards. And then just in terms generally in the ecosystem, I want to see, I'm working on something, a product, a female focused product that's going to help more female get equitable pay in the blockchain space, and hopefully it's going to be released sometime this year, and I'm very excited about that. And then I'm also pushing for more female inclusion using Web3 ladies, so I'm looking at getting more ladies into the blockchain space, and then also with Crevatal, I'm pushing for more user experience products are actually very that communicates the risks, right? Because that's what most products fail to do in the space, right? Especially DeFi products. It's very hard for you to understand the risks using this product, and it's very hard for you to make informed decisions based on this, right? And that's majorly because the communication or the information that you need to make those decisions are factored out of the application into like the white papers or the documentation. But what we're trying to do in Perimeter is just ensure that we begin to help founders or startups think in this perspective. And then beyond that, just getting more creatives into the space, and then helping them, see the opportunities lie beyond just Web2 and in Web3 and blockchain, as a whole, right? Yeah, so that's majorly what I think I'm going to be focused on.
Very
Of course,
exciting.
some things might change, but yeah, that's
Very, very exciting. You have a very bright future ahead of you, certainly. We sort of touched on the fringes of this a little bit, but what are your thoughts on the metaverse?
okay. So to be honest, I've not given so much deep thought to the metaverse, but I think that it's one way of enhancing human interaction, and I'm very excited about a couple of products just even around being able to buy lands virtually, right? And then this land you buy virtually actually represents a land in some certain area of the world where you would originally not be able to buy, maybe due to regulation, but just due to where you're coming from, right? And we have those, I mean, we've experienced those kind of stuff even as a Nigerian. It's very difficult in that sense, but like being able to like buy virtual land, being able to benefit from other countries in terms of like land resources, just via the metaverse, or via NFT in the metaverse, like it's actually very interesting, and I like that. And I think that where the metaverse is going, so I don't think we've even scratched, to be honest, I don't think we've scratched the surface of metaverse, because I think that there's a lot that metaverse can do in terms of just even how we interact with substances around us, how we interact with products, right? So imagine doing or me going into the metaverse, me shopping in Adidas somewhere in the world just through the metaverse, from my home through the metaverse, and I'm just like experience these things, feeling like it's real, and then I'm able to get these things shipped to me, right? That's like one way, I'm seeing the metaverse, or even just being able to attend virtual weddings, or even party, even in this area where everything is decentralized, and the rise of COVID, a lot of people have to like move a lot of things online, right? We have to move a lot of things online, and the fact that you can't really be everywhere, right? So metaverses, I feel like is a way of just enhancing this interaction, and I feel like there's a lot that it's yet to be uncovered with the metaverse. And I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities. There's going to be a lot of new job descriptions that are going to be coming up just by the advent or the rise or the maturity, or as metaverse is maturing, right? A lot of this is going to be coming up, and I'm very excited to see what comes out of that.
Yes.
Really, yeah. So that's majorly.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. All right. So this is going to be our quick fire round of questions. So I'll ask you a few questions. They're going to run the gamut. So be prepared. Give your first answer that comes to your mind. All right. Let's start with this one. What kind of person did you think you were going to be growing up?
Okay, growing up, I actually thought I was going to be a scientific inventor. I'm more like Marie Curie, and more like Isaac Newton, because I used to like all of those scientific innovation while I was growing up, and I loved it so much. And I was like, I'm going to discover the next element, the next element, or electromagnetic field, or something like really quantum physics. I was so excited about quantum physics, but I did one of my projects in quantum mechanics, right? So I was so excited about this stuff when I was growing up, and I actually thought I was going to be more a scientific inventor.
Really? Did you ever invent anything?
To be honest, no, I did not. But that was something I wanted to do.
That's so fun. You just never know when that apple falls on your head one day that something's gonna click,
Looking forward to that.
Right. Okay. What do you know now that you wish you knew in your 20s?
Okay, I'm still in my 20s actually.
Well, in your earlier 20s, I was gonna say you still look like you're in your 20s, but in your earlier 20s or teens even.
Okay, so I think one thing would be tech, right? I certainly imagine I knew about the opportunities in tech, right, for my team, because I didn't really know much about that. And while I was in school, like I said earlier, I didn't know anything about what was going on in the world. I was going to say the real world, but I didn't know so much about what was going on there, or the tech, the opportunities that lie within, or the things I could be doing at that age, right? Because right now you'd see like a lot of things getting into tech, and you're just discovering stuff, building stuff. I didn't have the opportunities at that time because I didn't know so much about that. So I wish I knew, I had someone, or I had a mentor, or had someone that told me that, hey, Oluchi, this is the way you need to start thinking tech, right from this young age, right? But I think that's like that's like it.
Yes.
Really.
Oh, okay, perfect. And what talents do you possess that not a lot of people know about?
Okay, not a lot of people know about. Okay, yes, I think a couple of persons might know this, but I love dancing. I think I've mentioned that before. But in terms of, I love to, so I know how to. I'm an innovator. I consider myself as an innovator, right? So you bring an idea to me, and I can tell you, I can help you. I can help you think through your idea, like realize the idea. Just put some more. Put some more life, right? Add some more life to it. Yeah. And I've been doing this for a lot of persons, right? Although not at the very global scale, or just like putting that as a site. So all the persons have said, oh, Oluchi, you can monetize this, right? But this is something I really want to monetize. This is something I love doing, right? So you can build your idea, and you can bounce off ideas, and I can help you put some life and put some structure and put some focus into the idea, and then give you the initial boost that you really need.
You breathe life into ideas, and you give the ideas legs, and then they go someplace.
Exactly. That's like perfect. That's perfect description of what I do, really. Yeah.
That's a gift. That is an absolute gift. Not everybody can do that. You can come up with an idea, but what good is it if you're not doing anything with it?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, if you could make a difference in the world, what would you want to be known for?
Hmm, interesting question. What would I want to be known for? I think I mean what I love doing, which is what I just said now. I think that's what I want to be known for. Like, um, should I say an idea catalyst? Right? Yeah, let's say an idea catalyst. You come to me, you have an idea, you don't know how to like structure it, you don't have to put it together, and then you can do that for you. Like that's I so I love when I derive satisfaction. I love when I see I'm able to be a very integral part of anyone's success, or helping you find your path. And that's why I love what I do with Three Ladies, and what I do, just outside of that, right? Just helping people see beyond. You have an idea, you're not even sure how far it can go, or the different aspects, right? Putting the idea in perspective, right, to see how you
Yes.
can grow, or just move forward with the idea, right? So I know how to do that, and that's one
Yeah.
thing I love doing and drive satisfaction. So I think that's really what I would love,
Perfect.
like beyond just tech, beyond just tech, beyond just coding, or product management. And that's like one reason why I'm also like going into the product management field, because I think that's where my ideas or my skills would really come really to life. Yes, I think
Just
that's
putting
it.
momentum behind something.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. There's a great quote that not getting what you want is sometimes a wonderful stroke of luck. Now, can you remember a time of having not achieved something that you longed for, or that actually redirected you to a better outcome?
Definitely. Yeah. When I started off in tech, I started off as a network engineer. I wanted to do my CCNA certificate, right, in networking. And but before that, I wanted to sort of like get an internship where I could just, even because I was learning with simulators, right? So I wanted to learn with like real life. I wanted to like be in a company where I could do real life networking, stuff. And I didn't get that, right? I didn't get that. I applied to so many networking firms like here in Nigeria, but I didn't get that. It was something I just felt like, okay, this was it, right? Probably I felt so bad, right? And when you were looking for something at that early stage of your career, when you're trying to like get an internship, how it can be, right? It can get very, very frustrating, right? So it was then, right? It was trying to get an internship that I stumbled upon web development, right?
Mhm.
And just building websites with WordPress and Node.js, WordPress, JavaScript, HTML. That's how I got into that. And yeah, I think that's what has brought me so far, not really the networking, right? So that has brought me so far. It took me through my tech life and software engineering, and then into blockchain as an engineer. And I really like, what I'm doing today. I really love what I'm doing today, right? I don't know I don't know what the journey would have been if I was a network engineer. I'm sure it would have been exciting, but yes, I think that's like one
Okay.
really.
Perfect. What is the best way that you deal with stress? How do you deal with stress?
Oh my God. Okay, cool. I'm still learning how to deal with stress.
It's a process.
It's a process. It's a process. I honestly, most times I feel like I need a stress mentor, someone that knows, a friend that knows how to like deal with all of this. But some ways I deal with it for now. It's mostly by I love like I said, I love dancing, just like playing music and letting. Sometimes it feels like when you dance into a lyric to a particular song, it just feels like you're letting go of everything. It feels like a therapy session to me sometimes, right? So I just dance, and it feels like you forget about all
Nice.
of the challenges and your sorrows, and you just light. So most times I do that a lot. And I also love just seeing different movies.
Yes.
Help me. It also helps a lot to do that. But dancing to different lyrics helps me a lot, right? It's a therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned dancing and you mentioned watching movies.
Yeah.
What else do you do for fun?
Yes, I love picnics a lot. It helps me, right? I love to go to the beach and just have like a very nice picnic here and there. And yeah, but mostly, mostly I think it's mostly dancing because I'm an indoor. Beyond just picnic, I also love like being indoors, right? So,
Yeah.
dancing, same movies. I mean, those like some of the things I do for fun, and sometimes just calling and talking to people because I love to talk too.
Mhm.
So just talking to friends, just catching up, laughing. I love to laugh hard, right? Because I feel like it makes me like forget a lot of things. So
Oh
doing
yeah.
that, yeah,
They
just
say laughter is the best medicine.
yeah,
So
honestly, it
so
is.
not only is it fun, but it also helps you de-stress.
Yeah.
Is there anything about your life that you'd want to change?
Mm, want to change, guys. Um, I'm not giving so much to that, but maybe. I'm not sure.
If you
I think
and if there's nothing that you want to change, that's also a great answer.
yeah. I think every part of me is me. Is what
Yeah,
makes me me at this point in time.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a beautiful answer, actually. Um, Getting technical one more time, are there any specific NFTs that interest you?
Yeah. So a couple I don't know, maybe because I love and this is just beyond any specific utility, but I love cryptocurrency. I love cryptocurrency NFTs. It's a women-led NFT. The goal is to just get represent more women and bring more women to limelight, right? So I love what they're doing with the NFTs, and yeah, I love that. And I also love NFTs around just yeah. So beyond that, really, um, I'm very skeptical. Beyond that, I'm very skeptical about a lot of NFT projects because I feel like not a lot of NFT projects really have really hitten the jackpot yet, right?
Mm,
Because
mhm.
beyond just marketing, beyond just hype, beyond just what else? Like what exactly is it solving, right? So NFTs that solve decentralization, that solves ownership issues, which I mean I think a couple of NFTs are coming up in that space, still in stealth mode, right?
Yeah.
So NFTs that really help with ownership, right? Faction ownership distribution, and then
Mhm.
help creatives really aim for their skills and not just hype things and just sell things in marketing, right? But it's actually really solving a use case, right? And not
Yeah.
just setting up an NFT project because and then slashing one social good to it that it's not really essentially what you do, right? So yes, I'm actually very skeptical about NFTs because I feel like I'm not I mean it's not there's a lot of noise, a lot of noise in the space, and I believe that after this noise, we would then see the Vue NFT applications, right? So, but
Yeah.
yeah, so beyond that, NFT, critical really just one form NFT I love as a
Very
one.
interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. I appreciate that very honest answer. So in the world, or specifically to Nigeria, what do you feel still needs to be modernized?
So I think personally, since in Nigeria, it would be around just like I said again, ownership, how ownership is handled, especially for landed properties, right? So I think that I think that there's a way that blockchain can come into that space. Although most persons dealing in land, right, they've not really captured the issue or what I'm looking at or what I'm thinking towards that, right? Just the ability for you to be able to buy land with little, because there's a lot of scams, right, around just even getting a landed property, right? So you may be buying a landed property that belongs to someone else and somebody else is selling it to you, right? Being able to trace that ownership, right? How this property moved from one owner to another owner, and then you ensure that you're giving it from the right owner, and if there are no legal implications or legal case on that particular property, right? So it's one because I've actually suffered from that, right? So that's like one really place where I think that it still needs some. There's still a lot of it's still needs a modernization, right? We need to bring tech and blockchain into that particular region, right? So I think that's like one area where I think that we still need stuff, and just also in terms of like financial inclusion, because I know we talk about financial inclusion a lot, but I think that how do we bring financial inclusion to people in like really, really remote areas, right? And even with the blockchain technology, how can we really essentially do this? Because when people talk financial inclusion, we end up serving the included.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the products they end up serving like the already, people that are already included financially, right? Because it's really a taxing job to do to bring financial inclusion really to these remote areas and these people that are really, really, really not financially included, right? So that's like one area as well. I think that we can still do work, and then also in terms of agriculture, farmers, and distribution, right? I think that there's a lot more that can be done to that, especially with the rise of blockchain, right? And communities and DAOs, right? We can form communities or DAOs around just agricultural produces. How can we have more of a decentralized relationship within different countries, different produce farmers across different places sharing ideas, sharing resources in terms of like agricultural produce or tools that could enable that, right? And then just general supply chain stuff. I think that there's still some work to be done there. And I think that DAOs and communities can really push that as well.
Okay.
Yes, I think.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Well, Oluchi, finally, describe yourself in 3 words.
I'd say innovative, hardcore, and progressive.
And progressive. Very good. Oluchi, it has been such a pleasure to chat with you. I want to thank you so much for joining us. We learned so much, and you're doing some fabulous things there in Nigeria. Well, that is going to do it for us on this episode of Blockchain All Stars. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for that.